While some people today believe that they can genuinely live forever, I am here to tell you that I would be happy to live a very short life. And here's why. Even though the founder of Venmo sold his company for almost $1 billion to invest in his business of a company built on the premise of living forever thanks to eliminated toxins and environmental distractions and noise, I am here to tell you that even though I approve of a pure lifestyle that is as free of toxins as possible and is as sustainable as possible and is as self-sufficient as possible and is as good for the environment as possible, I am also here to tell you that even though human lifespan has increased unlike ever before in the past centuries due to modern medicine, the dark side of that is people surviving but not really living. I come from a country where heartbreak is the primary negative vibration. And because of this, people here are not afraid to really live. And since the modern medical system, because this is still more part of the West than it is part of the East of the world, is still here. The modern medicine system is still prevalent in this country. So you see extremes because people here really are focused on survival, regardless of whether they are in a survival situation, so to speak, or whether their bodies are on the edge, so to speak, so about to give up. People here just seem to understand the extremes of life more. So hence people here are very loyal and adaptive, for example, but they are also just can be non-critical towards a lot of things that they're used to, and compliance is rather expected in this country. And even this can sometimes escalate to such a degree that some people end up complying to stay alive and staying alive. And I feel like many people may not have given consensus to that way of living, which excludes a state of thriving or really living. But I see, especially among the youth, how they are very daring and bold, and even the women are just very experimentative with so many things. For example, I once met a girl on the train after a vacation where the girl just sat down in front of me, and she was with a couple of men, or boys, I should say, below her age, and they were all working in the same town for the summer. And as she sat down, she was always on the move. Like, she was always doing something. She was talking, she was fidgeting, she was standing up, leaving her bag in front of me. And I recognized myself in her, because I remember when I was a swimmer, I was also like all over the place all the time. And when I found out later, part of her beauty and exuberance came from the fact that she was very healthy because she was a swimmer. But this very regulated lifestyle that allows a swimmer to be a winner, not just a regular swimmer, that can also limit a person in terms of them being a decision maker. And I remember the time when I personally came to a point of actual, I wouldn't say burnout, but end, because I was literally at the end of my rope, because had I been given the opportunity as an athlete to go rest and recover from all those years of self-exploitation, I would maybe have recovered from a lot of stress. But since I had been given no option to feel secure, especially within containment physically, I remember just having gotten worse in terms of performance and everything. And I know what preceded that, which is kind of a state similar to that overachiever type of mentality. And what I was happy to hear was that this girl who has sat down in front of me on the train, she had won 1 million I will not say the currency, because that would be very revealing as to which country I am from. But basically, she has earned the value of like a car with swimming, because she won a prize. And I was so happy to hear that. But the way she told me that was, first of all, when they were leaving the train, so I could barely reflect. I obviously looked surprised in a good way. But by the way, if you're the girl and you're seeing this, please catch up with me. But she also was putting this forth as a type of like a fact, you know. So the reason why I appreciate her having shared her success was because I like seeing women succeed, but most importantly, I like being the platform for someone to identify themselves on. And when I get told things of a certain weight or a certain value, I realize that the person is giving power to me to recognize them as something that they believe that they are or could be. And so I am glad also that this girl succeeded by winning a prize in swimming, because her work paid off. One thing I once heard when I was still a child is never give up, because you never know how near the prize actually is, or how near the reward is. So this is to all the people who are on the edge of giving up. Please trust your intuition. So for example, if you feel like you're really on the edge of your rope, then of course consider rest, because you do not have to, especially as a woman, earn rest. You deserve it anyway. Like, that is your birthright, to live in comfort, to do what feels good to your body unconditionally. And I cannot and will not ever emphasize this enough. But I just wish more people, especially women, got like rewards for their labor in a bit like a different way than men do, because we live in a man's world, and it is, let's admit it, as hard for a woman to get results as it is for a man, except of course a woman is using a man specifically for furthering her life, which is historically not uncommon, but it is not illegal either. But even that now is getting harder, because men are no longer in the mindset that they should marry and commit long term, especially the young generation, especially people who are in the like people who belong to the average population. So the average man no longer marries. That is no longer the norm. So okay, that was a long story, but I want to get back to my point, which is how and why I want to live a short life. The founder of Venmo had sold his company for almost $1 billion to invest in like rejuvenating resources that would keep him alive forever. And I'm like, I'm a woman, so I bleed every month, and I have no idea what that means. Like, I literally, like, I cannot sugarcoat this. I pass every month upon, shedding layers, because statistics show that there are so many things and so many toxins, even microplastics in menstrual blood. So it is literally a woman's body pure, like detoxifying when she has a period, and it is literally healthy for her. But it also feels like a bit of a ending, and sometimes that can be paired with a feeling of renewal, a feeling of rebirth, which is extremely powerful, and that is what I would say is the closest to female empowerment, as opposed to a woman working like a man. I feel like there are multiple types of work. There are like gender-specific definitions to everything in life, but to work, I think we have not yet attached the female version and normalize it. So I want to live a short life, and I would be happy to live a short life because I have already lived so much. As I said, I live in a country where people really live, and when that happens, when you're surrounded by all these really living, thriving, trying to thrive type of people, you get pushed to your limits sometimes, even unwillingly. And what you see happening is that without even realizing, you expand, you grow, you gain worldly knowledge. And sometimes when you have no chance to recover, which is, I would argue, the reason behind all these extreme behaviors as well, more often than not, when paired and supported by and with heartbreak. You realize that so if you don't get the chance to recover from everything you've experienced, then of course you do not grow, you do not improve, you get worse. But if you give yourself the self-respect that you need, and you have the dignity to to go on with life. You become more respected, but you also pay the price of having lived fast. And that's me. I have lived fast. I remember when I was 19, I wouldn't even call him a boyfriend because we never went out, but me and my brother, we were living in the same apartment, and this is it a man? Like this grown boy came to our apartment, and we even met there. And I remember, like, in between me meeting him on a regular basis, I would listen to songs, the lyrics of which went like, "Live fast, die young, bad girls do it well," you know. So these almost evil type of songs, but it's like I'm not like I have lived that life, you know. I know that judgment is not always the most building thing I can project on an experience, because like learning essentially never stops. But I am in a state of critical thinking in terms of certain types of